Hi, this is a Minute of Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now this week I want to talk about how you should never tell anyone what your budget is. Okay, so those of you who've been following me on Snapchat this last week know how much I've been complaining about doing client work. So Overpass, we have all our own apps. We make all our revenue through apps, but we also do work for clients. So people will call us up and they'll say, we want an app done or whatever. Right, so and one of the things that what I thought I would talk about this week is some of you who are going to contact a software developer or an app developer and look for work to be done. I want to give you a little bit of advice, right? Sometimes they'll ask you what your budget is, and it's one of the big problems that I have, right? If I'm working with another developer, sometimes we'll contract stuff out, and the first thing they'll say is, "So Eric, tell me what's your budget on this," right? And I always think my budget is not your concern, right? It's asking someone their budget is like saying, "So how much are you going to spend on this?" And then I could tell you what you'll get. And that's like the wrong way around. What I think should happen is you should go to a software developer and say, this is what I need. How much will it cost for you to do this, right? And then they'll have to, because in their mind they have to start thinking, well, I don't want to they don't want to outprice you. I know this because of the turmoil in my head, right? Is when I discuss requirements with a client. I want to think about, I don't want to lose any money on this. If the requirements are really vague, I want to have a little bit of buffer in there so that we could cover those if something unexpected comes up. But at the same time, I don't want it to be so high that I outprice them. So you try to balance it that way. Now, if I just come out and say, tell me what your budget is, and you say my budget is, say, I don't know, 5,000 pounds, then sure enough, I could come up with something for $49.95, right? But that's not the way things should work. You should find out how much stuff costs, right? And if you ask for something like, say, if you come to Overpass and we say something will cost 5,000 pounds, you should go to other developers too and ask them, how much will it cost you to do it? Because they might have more available resources at the time. They might have developers that are just sitting around doing nothing, and they'll be willing to do it for much less, or for a variety of reasons. It's always good to get more than one quote. But if you know somebody who knows code a little bit better, it's good to have them around so they can make sure that things are. That you're not giving something to somebody who's completely doesn't know what they're doing. But this is just something I've been working with other companies lately, and they've been like, hey, ask them what their budget is. Ask them what their budget is. And I'm like, I'm not going to ask that. It's none of my business. So when you contact a software developer, whether it be Overpass or whoever, right? So you contact anyone, right? You should contact more than one for your app idea anyway. But if they ask you what your budget is, it's none of their concern. Or if anything, so you go in really low, because you have to consider things that you might not have considered already, like marketing, because that's something when you release it to the App Store, that's really, really hard. So my advice this week, however brief and rambly it is don't ever tell anyone your budget. It's not their business. It's your business. And they just have to tell you how much something's going to cost, or at least give you a ballpark so that if they're thinking thousands and you're thinking hundreds, that you clarify that early on without anybody wasting anyone's time. But at the same time, it's all about the requirements, not about the budget. So that's it for this week. Hey, if you've been following on Snapchat, we've been trying to talk about everything, or I've been trying to talk about things that come up app related, talking about my ad mob revenue each day, and every time we learn something new, and also answering questions from some people who are contacting through Snapchat. So again, this week I encourage you to follow us. We're giving it a try now, trying to put new snaps up there every day, and people seem to be enjoying it. So here's a little bit of summary of a few of these random unedited snaps from this past week.
And my ad mob yesterday was really, really low at 80 pounds only. That's really, really bad. Yesterday we created our first GitHub public repository for a Node MySQL backup in Node.js. Okay, this is meant for README, but I might as well put it out to everybody. The app income is like the sweetest, because once you get it coming in, it feels the best, but much better than clients. Man, I hate getting this message every time I submit to iTunes. It's fine when it's just me, because I know just to ignore it, but like with clients, they always call me up. Good morning, everyone. It's wet and rainy here in England today. I've already had one meeting at a client site. to re-demo what I demoed yesterday and that failed. The AdMob Mediation Masterclass webinar was pretty good. I think the best thing I learned from that is the SDK-less mediation. For those of you out there who use Ionic or even Corona SDK, it's best to have like all your screenshots, when you do your screenshots, to use an emulator because it's so much faster.
So that's it. If that looks interesting to you, hey, follow us. There's the snap code here, which is my snap code name. My Snapchat name is eric.ruley, and that would be, hey, keep in touch throughout the rest of the week. And again, we're app developers, or we're interested in apps, so we kind of have to know what's out there and what's new, what are the latest trends and all that kind of stuff. So that's the reason I'm doing it. So that's it for this week. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you next week. Hey, I really hope you liked that video. Now I do these once a week, so if you want to hear more, or you want to hear more about our experiences with the App Store, either Google Play or iTunes, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and please like this video and leave a comment. I love reading the comments. I love hearing what you have to say, even if it's just hello or whatever. And like I say before, if you're not sure what to say in a comment, like I never know what to say in a comment, I'll make it easier for you. Like if you liked it, just go ahead and say gnarly, which is an 80s term, or if you didn't like it, just say bogus, and if you didn't think any of it, just say eh, right? So that would be a big help. And another thing you could do, which I'd really appreciate it, if you're on the App Store and you want to try one of our apps, look up some of the Overpass apps, applications either on iTunes or Google Play, and leave a review and let us know what you think about it, either good or bad. But it's we're all trying to build up in the market, so that would be a big help. So that's it. I'll talk to you next week.